Hey everyone, how's it going today? And welcome back to another update. So today we are going to be having a lot of very exciting news to share, because in today's update I really want to take a change of pace and now focus a lot more talking about the fourth stimulus package, but even more specifically now the fourth stimulus social infrastructure package. In other words, is that in today's update we are going to now officially move to talk about the fourth stimulus package, but specifically the programs that involve putting money inside of our pockets, which I think is probably the biggest thing. Because the big news to really take in as maybe the background is that today, if you are watching this on release date, is officially going to be a very, very big day, because it is now officially the day that President Joe Biden has officially now come out. In fact, if you're watching this on release date, as we are speaking, he's actually right now sitting inside, having a ceremony, talking, and essentially he is now ready to approve of the fourth stimulus package physical infrastructure bill. We already talked a lot about what's currently inside of the fourth physical infrastructure bill. I'll put a video at the very, very end screen so you guys can check it out if you guys are interested. I do still really think that it is relatively a pretty insightful watch to kind of see what's been going on the physical side. But in today's update, the big idea is that now they are now officially on the verge, or basically potentially already, if you're watching this into the future, officially have the fourth stimulus physical infrastructure bill signed. It means that they are now ready to move on to talking about the social programs. In fact, President Joe Biden has also announced that one of the things that he is going to be speaking about during this ceremony is preaching for his social programs. So we're going to talk all about that stuff in today's update. So as always, we're going to get started, but as always, the same exact drill. Remember to smash the like button if you guys hopefully enjoy videos like this. And I mean, we at least are now moving on to the exciting stuff, so hopefully there's that. Consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and as always, feel free to comment any questions, personal thoughts, or honestly just really anything. So with that being said, let's get this video started. So now maybe to just start with a really quick 30-second background to what's happening is that essentially he's inside of a ceremony. He's about to sign this package. That he's about to sign is essentially the $1 trillion bipartisan physical infrastructure, which has, I believe, about $550 billion allocated to just everything related to transportation. So things such as like roads, bridges, highways, infrastructure, public transit, things that involve moving people back and forth around, or just simply put as things that involve movement around our country. But the big news is that now that he's officially, or basically now on the verge of signing it, he will now officially be moving on to focusing on the social programs part. In fact, right now at this current time, he's even already made a speech that once he finishes signing this fourth stimulus physical infrastructure, he will now be trying to preach for the social side of his fourth stimulus package infrastructure plan. The background story now to the social infrastructure that we care probably a lot more about is essentially right now it's going to be priced at about $1.75 trillion. So it's definitely a lot larger than the physical infrastructure, which might actually be very much better, because I think most of us actually care a lot more about this package than the other package. They're going to be speaking about it today, right after he finishes signing it, and they're essentially hoping the plan and agenda right now is that they want to take this package and try to vote on it, according to Nancy Pelosi, inside of the House this week, but even more specifically before they end up taking off to go on vacation again. The big timeline in terms of what to expect is that essentially this week, they've now officially come back from their vacation last week because of Veterans Day. They will be going on vacation the next week again for Thanksgiving. There's going to be about 3 weeks or so, give or take, where they're going to be trying to finish up negotiations, and then of course the final week they're going to finally be going away for Christmas vacation. So essentially, in a lot of ways, Congress is really only going to be in session, as crazy as it is to think, for just another 3 to 4 weeks now for the rest of the year. But you see, it's also because of that reason, it means that very likely there's going to be a relative sense of urgency to hopefully finally get this package through. Now, in terms of what exactly is inside of this package right now at this time, this is just a really quick summary about it. Essentially, there is universal preschool. They are doing 4 weeks of federal paid leave, so for like parents, health, caregivers, anything like that. So this is really great, because it means that you're able to as the name suggests, take 4 weeks off and you will be able to get paid for it. This is actually very, very applicable, especially to people that are typically self-employed, because they may not typically have the federal paid leave that a lot of typical corporate companies do have. And then what they're also hoping to do is to expand the child tax credit. So if you happen to by any chance have a family, this is going to essentially act as almost like a stimulus check, even more specifically a several $1,000 stimulus check per child for every family or every child you currently have in your family. So based off of this, there is obviously, it's probably a relatively pretty reasonable time to have kids just because of how many programs. Now, in terms of things related to stimulus checks, the hard news is that right now at this time, they don't necessarily have a push to do stimulus checks. That petition that we have been talking about for the last couple of months, they are about to hit 3 million signatures very, very soon. And when they hit that 3 million signatures, what's going to likely happen is that they're going to be taking that petition and bringing it inside of Congress to try to finally preach for it. And it's kind of like perfect timing that they're about to accomplish that milestone while they're starting to negotiate about the fourth stimulus social programs. Of course, there is no guarantee at this time. I do wish that there was already some kind of stimulus check built inside, especially because I do feel it there, because I don't have kids, I'm just me. I, lived with a roommate, so I kind of feel it right there. And I really, really do wish that they had some kind of stimulus check. But really, this is just what's actually physically happening that's going on right now. Now, the plan for this specific upcoming week, aside from the fact that we mentioned that they're hoping to vote for it inside of the House, in terms of what's really going to be happening is that they're currently negotiating, or they're going to now move on to negotiations starting tomorrow. And technically, they're already speaking about it today, but just, very, very briefly. But when they move on to the actual deep negotiations, they're going to try to finalize the bill and talk a lot about what they want to potentially add, what they potentially want to take out, because the probability right now is that it's looking very, very likely is that something about this package is going to change. And because there are still a lot of people inside of Congress and people that are actually, whose voice is actually very important because they actually are in charge of the voting, that they really have to try to make happy, or just make a package that could make them hopefully finally agree on it as well. And then the other big thing that they're interestingly also working on, which I think is a little bit less talked about, is that they're also waiting for the CBO to release information about how the country is doing on an economic level. The CBO, if you're not familiar, they're pretty much, it just stands for the Congressional Budget Office. And what they essentially do is that they release information talking about how the economy is doing. But what they also do is that they're going to be releasing information specifically about the budget and the financial side of the country. Pretty much what this means is that to really be able to see how much money they even physically have to be able to work with. Everything such as things related to inflation, things related to cost, how much they're in debt, the budget deficit, basically everything related to trying to actually pay for, but also to manage and create and make this stimulus package happen, but on the actual financial side. So they have to essentially wait for information there, but at least the big idea as mentioned is that they are making progress, and I think that's the most important thing. Now, in terms of what is the big significance about everything that I just mentioned, is that now that they've officially moved on, or they're essentially now on the verge of moving on from the physical infrastructure negotiations, we'll just put as general news is that there actually is, admittedly to this day, a lot of uncertainty to whether or not they're actually going to be able to approve this social infrastructure bill in time. Congress has made it seem like it's very, very promising, but of course when it comes to Congress, there is a lot of changes that happens. So we wish to give you more of a more definite answer, but it kind of really is just the current situation at this current time. But the bright news is that now that they are moving on from that, what's really, really exciting news is that at least now they can turn their attention to focus on the actual social programs. And I think because of that reason, hopefully the news that we will hopefully now start to hear going forward will be things much more about things such as, just simply put, programs meant to put money inside of our pockets. Whether this has to do with stimulus checks, more child tax credit, social security, Medicaid, Medicare, unemployment, anything in that world, that's really the hope that we're really hoping for right now. But really beyond this is that that's what I really just wanted to share in today's update. So hopefully if you guys found that insightful and haven't done so, consider smashing the like button, consider subscribing, hitting the bell. It is really always greatly appreciated. So huge thanks. Of course, you guys can decide if you guys want to. And as always, feel free to comment any questions, personal thoughts about honestly just really anything. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys made it to